There have been calls for a one-night boycott of bars and clubs in the UK after what's been described as an epidemic of women being spiked on nights out. Recent weeks have brought a multitude of reports of young women having drinks spiked or even being injected. Well, let's talk to Tasha Lovell and Timea Eiliff of Oxford University's anti-sexual violence campaign group, It Happens Here. Thanks very much for joining us on Euronews. First of all, there have been reports of this happening not just in Oxford, but all over the country. What exactly has been going on?
Yeah, so we've seen a rise in drink spiking crimes doubling over the past 3 years recently. And obviously, as the pandemic's allowed us all to open up and allow people to go back to clubs, and especially as fresh as week has started in universities across the UK, we've seen a phenomenal increase in reported and anecdotal evidence of spiking, including, as you mentioned, spiking by injection, which is a new and incredibly disturbing way women and people of all genders are being spiked.
What immediate effect has this had on the women concerned, and what's been the response of the various authorities in Oxford?
I think it's definitely caused a raised anxiety for people of all genders. Going out is already kind of an anxious situation, especially given the gap in time between us first going out, the pandemic, and then coming back. So far, we've had a very limited response from police and universities. I mean, there's been reports of some universities even saying don't get spiked, and kind of this victim blaming, gaslighting attitude of there not being a problem and ignoring it or continuing to, and just completely invalidating the experiences of people that have been spiked and raising their genuine concerns.
So your call now is for a boycott in Oxford. There are calls for boycotts in other cities as well. What do you hope that will achieve?
Yeah, so the first thing we're hoping to achieve is really to build momentum and show clubs, bars, venues, staff, the police, that we are going to take this seriously. We're going to stand up for this issue. We're not going to take spiking as something that just happens, something you just have to be careful of on a night out anymore. And that we really are going to be withholding our presence and then if they are money from these venues if they don't take action on spiking. More broadly, we have a set of demands that are across the Girls' Night Out social media campaign, which include active bystander training for bars and staffs, welfare officers, people taking spiking seriously when it does happen, and a clearly communicated zero tolerance policy on spiking that is advertised openly for every venue where this is an issue.
Given how widespread it is now, and these reports as well of injections happening, I mean, do you get any information about what's behind this? Is it individuals, or is there any suggestion that it could be orchestrated?
We don't have specific details on the motives behind spiking, and oftentimes law enforcement don't either, because it's such an underreported crime and it's often so difficult to actually catch a perpetrator. Oftentimes, though not always, it's drug facilitated sexual assault. Sometimes it's also, I believe, so that people can be robbed, but a lot of the time we see it as the precursor to sexual assault or violence.